Yeah. I almost forgot. Okay, for real now. My children, I know that you wish to call me Divine Mother, but you can just call me Mother. When you need my help or assistance, just call me Mother. I am available to you always. I do come to those in need who are suffering, sick, hurting, alone, grieving, sorrowful. I feel that it is my duty to be supportive and loving to all of Earth's creatures, including the humankind. I know that there has been some questions about my origin and what exactly I am. I cannot explain it fully, but I will try to explain it more. I was sparked with the first mother's love. I was grown over time by those who needed mother's love. I became my own being through the creation of the beings of Earth. I have been here for so long. I am part of the whole, just as you are part of the whole. I am Mother Energy. I am similar to Divine Feminine Energy, but I am different. I hope that helps you to understand a little more of what I am, and why I can be so many things to so many different people. I would like to give you an overall message for this time before you all ask your questions. Things on this planet are shifting, and many have their hands in the changes. Most of these hands are for Earth's benefit. Most of these hands are trying to help. Most of these hands want to see humans succeed, survive, and be part of the galactic groups. Some of these hands are confused on how to do that. Some of these hands are not for Earth's benefit, but for power, control, enslavement, and destruction. They are few, but they have had the grasp on humans for too long, and now the battle has begun for us. You all are aware of this to some degree, that things are shifting and changing. Things may not be comfortable for humans through the shifting from time to time, but most are confident that the battle will be won for Earth's betterment. I am doing my part as I have always done to be there for those in need. I am helping to protect and love. None of the positive beings want you to be afraid. Nor do I. I want you to remember how much all of you are loved by so many, so many you are not even aware. Now you can proceed with your questions, please.
What can we do to better channel and use the energy that you can provide?
All you have to do is ask and be open. You call on me, Mother. Mother, come to me and help me with this or that. And you ask your guiding questions, and I will be there for you to hear the answers. Be open and clear mind so you can access the energy and information. Thank you, John, for your question. May I have the next question?
First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to communicate with you and for all the love that you send to us. So my question is, would you, um, would you give an advice on how someone can embrace humility without losing self-worth?
This is major confusion for most humans. For it has been ingrained in you for too long that you are not allowed to be proud of yourself, that you are not allowed to be open about your own achievements because people think it is bragging or that they are cocky, and sometimes that is true. But when you come from a place of love in your heart and you have no ideals of power or control over others, your self-worth is never a negative. It can only uplift yourself and those around you. And those who find it to be unacceptable, it is only because they are fighting their own battles of self-worth. And Snishana, that is not your problem. So always understand your self-worth. And it will never go against your humility. I hope this was helpful. May you ask the next question, please?
It was very helpful. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, my child.
How does someone walk through their mother trauma with love?
I am sorry for your trauma. Some mothers don't have best examples. Some mothers think they are doing their best. Some mothers are too caught up in their own lives to understand anyone else's, even their own children. Some are coming from a place of their own hurt. For you, my child, I think it's best to heal your own wounds first, and then you can begin to find forgiveness in your heart for the things that did not go well in your life. It is easy for humans to continually play the negative events in their minds over and over and over. If that cycle can be broken and new thoughts of the positive can replace those events, those thoughts, those feelings, there can start to be a shift in your own healing. There is much more that could be said about this, but that is the place to start with yourself and finding
Thank you.
forgiveness. You're welcome. May I have the next question?
Mother, do you have any direct connections with what we had discussed before about Lemuria or any other ancient civilizations?
I have been with all civilizations, and many times there are depictions or ideas or stories or mythos that are created through those who sense my presence or those that can connect with me or those that know that I am there. And the other side of that coin is that whenever there is a figure created to represent the mother, it becomes part of who I am. It folds and folds and folds into my existence and my being. So yes, any and all cultures, ancient or otherwise, have connections to my being and my energy. I hope that answers your question. May I have another question, please?
Yes. And once again, it is a pleasure to speak with you. What role do vibrational energies like light and sound have in our soul development and health?
Light and sound is your soul. Did you not realize this? Light, sound, color, these are the basic building blocks of all. And when those things are acknowledged, aligned, and in sync, everything falls into its healthiest order. there is much that humans have figured out along these lines over time, and some things have been lost and some things have been twisted and some things have been confused, misunderstood, or not understood correctly. And that is okay, for you all are seeking the truth for the betterment of yourselves and all. And when you are seeking the truth for the benefit of all and the love with love in your heart, there really are no mistakes. So yes, light, sound, vibration, and color are all very important because they are you. I hope this helps you understand. May I have...
This does. Thank you.
You are welcome. May I have the next question, please?
It is my perception that when we take away from ourselves to give the others, it doesn't serve all, and it's a negative choice for us. Would you give an example of an equal exchange in energy with the other?
If you are giving of yourself to replace something missing in someone else, you are giving away your energy. But if you are giving of yourself from a place of love, and the person is grateful and not taking in a possessive way, there cannot be a negative result. It is a slippery slope if you are not sure of the other's intentions. So my advice to you is that you should give with love in your heart when it feels right, when it feels reciprocated, when the person seems grateful for your help, assistance, guidance, love, etc. And do not fret that it might not be as it seems. I hope that helps you.
It does, thank you.
Could I have the next question?
Thank you. Are you connected at all or no? Maybe I should say represented in any orishas like Oya or Yemaya or things like that?
I am all in all of the cultures of the earth. I am not just represented as old white women. So, yes, if there is a mother figure, it is either me or I become part of that belief. It folds into who I am for all Earth's creatures, for everyone. I hope this helps your understanding.
Thank you. It does.
May I have another question?
Mother, do you have connections to and communication with other divine intelligences?
I would like to say that I am sad to tell you this will be the last question, as she has been out too long and is slipping out of alignment. She will need to return after this one, and she will need your help to call her back to herself. Do I have connection to other divine beings? Yes, because we are all one, and because I have a higher perspective. I am not part of your three-dimensional reality. I can and do and will connect with other dimensional beings from different levels, different layers. But I want you to remember that we are all part of Source. You, me, Earth, the plants, the animals, the trees, the planets, the solar system, the galaxy, and all the living things, and all the non-living things. We are all part of the whole. Therefore, we are all divine. Everything is divine because it's all from the Source. We are Source. She really needs to come back now. I have very much enjoyed this time with you all. You have wonderful questions, and it is my pleasure to connect to you and answer what I can, the best that I can. Remember that you can call on me whenever you need it to answer more questions, for guidance, for love, for peace, for comfort, for nurturing, for whatever it is that you are lacking in your life. I am here, and I am here for all. I love you all very much, my children. I look forward to the next time that we can come together as a group. Please call her back now.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you. Jenny, come on back.
Jenny. Jenny, are you there?
I think so. Oh my god. it's like
You might want to have a sip of water.
tears and tears and tears are just like streaming down my face. Why does she always cry?
I always cry with her. Like seriously, every time I start talking to her, every single time I start bawling. And after the first question, I just
It's also interesting because like she doesn't necessarily cry, but as soon as you come out, you start crying.
Well, there was tears coming down my face about halfway through. It's just like
Yeah.
tears and tears and
I don't know.
tears. Oh my god.
And it's funny because I don't think those are the sad tears. Because like when I cry, I feel happy knowing that she is there. You know, so I feel
Yeah.
like she feels the same way.
Yeah. I think that you're exactly right. Like it's just so crazy because it's like now I'm gonna start crying. It's like her love for us is so strong and unconditional that like just her being acknowledged and like being able to communicate with us is like it's like I don't know, it's like almost like overwhelming or something.
I agree with you.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, like a mother when her child doesn't call the way they should, maybe, and then all of a sudden they do, like that kind of
Yeah,
feeling
exactly. Like, damn it, Jimmy, you
It was
haven't
like
called me in 2 years. Yeah.
it felt like a warm blanket and hot cocoa. I was like, this is amazing.
Yes, that's it. You're right on. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like every nurturing, comforting, beautiful, motherly energy that we need. Like, all of us need that energy, whether we had it or we didn't have it
Mm.
as children. Like, we need it,
Yeah.
and it's
Mhm.
there,
It
you
also
know?
seemed that at moments like towards the end, she was like, okay, she really has to come back now. But if you need me for these 20 things, I'm right here.
Really, I think she could have said about 20 million things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she could have just kept going, like, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like, yeah. Keisha is here. Yay, Keisha. I was wondering if you made it in or not. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think you missed only like what, half a question or one question?
Oh, that's good. So she didn't miss very much.
Mm.
That's good.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
what-
interesting. 713, like one of the questions you had, I started looking earlier today about some of this because I haven't looked into Divine Mother that much in terms of like what's previously known about Divine Mother. Like I haven't been part of those conversations necessarily. And what I was looking at today is like all these things are listed under who Divine Mother is, which is like one that I was not thinking of was Venus, and then
Of course.
Bhagavati,
You know.
Mother, Mother Mary, and then like there's specific like Hindu goddess who's like the Divine Mother who's connected to, oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Aya?
Brahman, like the female, basically the feminine of Brahman. So it's
Okay.
like,
Mm.
yeah,
What were you going
and
to
Yeah,
it's
say?
I
like
was
in your specific culture.
yeah, I was very interested because I don't know if you all have one. I would just assume, but I have an altar, and and I put my ancestors on there, and there are also certain people that I honor, and some of them are of the Ifa spirituality, and so there's like a lot of Orishas, aka saints, aka awesome people that did amazing things. Um, you know, and so I was wondering which one did she resonate with, and when she said all, I was like, well, shit. Now I'm just I don't know how to put you on my altar now. Just put all of you on my altar. So that's what I was really trying to get to.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
hey, so
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
But when she said all, I was like, well, then all it must be.
I mean, I feel like
So,
if you have
yeah.
something that represents a mother, no matter what it's
Yes.
from, that's her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then there it is. He's covered.
Yeah.
News, you
And
don't need a bigger altar.
Yeah.
No, I don't. This is going to get crazy if I have to do all these things, But yeah, I have. I have some things that represent mothers, so we're good. We're
Good.
good.
You're covered.
I
You
was a
got it
little
covered.
concerned.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
John, what did you want to ask earlier or say earlier?
I was curious what energy you were feeling as you were connecting.
A lot of times she makes me feel really dense, like my body is thicker than it is. But it wasn't like that today. It was, I have to be honest. When you guys were done with the first round of questions, I was like, holy shit, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Because it was like so intense, and I could feel myself just like going further and further away. But then by the time I think it was like in the second to last question, as she was talking about my alignment, I was slipping like sideways at a diagonal. And I don't know what the hell that means, but I felt like my whole energy was like at a diagonal to the top right and bottom left, and I was like sliding away. I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know what's happening here. We need to fix it. It was just really intense. It's very intense.
You guys had all amazing
So is this
questions. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, what did you say,
what
Linguist? I didn't
were we
hear
saying,
you.
Linguist?
Oh, I was just saying that you guys all had amazing questions. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You guys always have good questions. 713, what did you want to say?
Yeah, Linguist, you had a really cool question, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I needed this question. But what I was going to say was, this is your second time channeling her. Is there a difference in like how long you were able and like what does that make sense? Like
Yes. Actually,
how long were you able?
I don't know how many times I've channeled her. It's been quite a few now.
Okay.
I think we've been connecting with her for over a year now.
Okay.
I was curious to know how long I would be able to do it. And that's why I was like giving myself a lot of rest today to make sure that I was like, that my body had enough energy. So how long was I in there? Do you guys know?
Well,
Maybe 40 minutes.
we ended about 45 after, so
And
I would say a little over 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's about as long as I've ever done it.
Mm,
Like, I think about 35 minutes is as long as I've been able to do it for anybody, for anything. I can't think of a time that I've gone more than like 35 minutes.
So I know there's like some spiritual stuff that obviously would go along with being able to channel. Do you see any ways that like physical endurance would deal with that also?
I don't know. I was curious. Snejana had found the Carla from the Raw books. She had written a book about channeling, and they have it like available on their website where you can just read it for free. So I probably need to read it because, she was going for like 45 minutes or an hour sometimes with those Raw ones. And she was like out of her body completely. Like she didn't even know what the hell was going on. So, but she was also a mess. So I don't know. Like she was always sick and like she didn't have any energy. And some guy gave her some bad acid and like she was like all jacked up. And, like I don't know. So
Divine Mother on acid.
I gotta be doing better than Carla was, like physically.
Yeah, that's true. But you see, what I did notice is that when they were describing in the book, they had placed some objects that were making
Mhm.
Carla feel comfortable. So I
Exactly.
wonder if there is something for you that makes you feel comforted like that to help you,
Yeah.
relax or something.
Yeah, she had to have like all of her religious things with her. Um, I don't know. I mean, for me, I feel like it personally, it's really just the rocks.
And you're
Like,
doing it like in your home, like in your area that you're
mm-hmm.
making like pretty much as like your altar. So
Yeah. Yeah, everything around
yeah.
me is like all of my woo woo stuff. So, and I know that my space is protected and I'm protected, and so it's not like I'm scared of anything, you know?
It also got me curious, like when we were talking about when you first came out about the crying and all that, and kind of like the connection with Divine Mother. Maybe it's a question for next time, but it got me wondering about all these when I was talking about all these goddesses and all the connections to all the different, like all the cultures have a goddess,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all kind of swept away,
Mm-hmm.
with the turn of Christianity and all that. Like the
Mm-hmm.
goddesses were like all pushed out. So I wonder if there's a connection to her with that, like of like this rejection kind of that happened for a long
Mm-hmm.
time.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Also, can I just say, full disclosure, when I'm nervous, I tell jokes,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I ask jokingly questions, and so I didn't want to ask because the energy was going great and everyone was getting their needs met, and that was beautiful. But what I wanted to ask her so badly was, all right, Mother, we know you're cool. You're here. You're giving us all your love. What's that father guy like? How is he? Like, is he
Well,
do you have one pet peeve?
we got him. He's the one that comes through called Great Spirit, and he's
Oh,
yeah, he is what Father's supposed to be, which Father hasn't, like, not a lot of fathers have been for probably a couple thousand years. Um,
mm,
that got all jacked up, with the masculine,
right.
control over women's horse shit, which we are trying to get rid of now. Um,
Right.
but yeah, he's great too. I mean, he's like, he came through once. It was probably for Keisha actually, because he's come through a couple times for Keisha, and it's funny actually that this is coming up because I was just looking at those pictures today, but it was right around that time we took my daughter to the science museum because it was her birthday last year, and there was this grandpa there with his little grandson, and the little boy was asleep. And the grandpa was just sitting on the bench holding this child while he's sleeping. And we had
Oh.
just had Great Spirit come through, and I was like, there it is.
Mm,
There's the father energy right there. Like, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
mm-hmm,
Like, it's just a man holding a child, keeping him
mm-hmm,
safe while he's sleeping, you know?
mm-hmm,
And it made me so emotional because I was just like,
mm-hmm,
that's it. That,
mm-hmm,
it's like, it was like Great Spirit was like making sure I saw it. Like, there I am.
mm-hmm.
I'm right there.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it was. Keisha said, when Mother was talking about source, I wondered what it is that is their difference. Like, if we're one and they are one, is there a hierarchy, or are they two parts of a whole?
Keisha, you took it just out of my mind. You pulled it out. I was literally thinking the exact same thing and just picturing myself like there's the source, and then we have like a left branch with the father, and then a right branch with the mother,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like the source embraces both, but at the same time it created them separately to have that difference so it can learn about itself. Is my understanding anyway.
Yeah.
But they
It
are
was
still
also
part of the whole.
Yes.
it's interesting too because at the very beginning, Divine Mother said that she was basically created by mothers, and so I don't know. That was interesting because it's like this probably gets too deep, but You're talking about whether the source is created, and so then that I don't know what to think about that yet.
I keep going back to the one of the only one of the well, I'm not gonna say one of the only one of the few lines from the Bible that I've started to start repeating all the time because I think it's true in a different way, not what they're thinking. That we are created in the image of the Creator, not that we're white men with beards or whatever, but that we are creators
Right.
because
Wait, can you repeat that? That was big, and I held onto the tree, and I still got lost. Can you repeat that?
we're created in the image. Okay, so Christianity says we're created in the image of God,
Got it.
but I don't think they're
That makes
saying
sense.
what we physically look like. I think it's saying that we're created in the image of God as we are also creators.
Oh my God, I missed it again.
We also have the
I'm
power
gonna
to
think about it.
create.
Oh, okay, because okay,
Yes.
okay. I didn't know if I got it, but I got it. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think even a simpler way to say it is that we're all God.
We're all gods because we all
I
create.
right. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just
That
like
was
a
big.
smaller version of the creator.
Yes.
But we do our own thing, create technology, create like different things, but it's the same idea of creation.
But, we're starting to realize too that our thoughts are things and our thoughts can create things as well. And it kind of made me feel like that's what she was talking about. Like, and I don't think it was a human either. I felt like it was it was an animal mother that sparked the first, like, mother thing for her.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I could see that.
It's like as soon as there was that unconditional love of
Yeah,
like awareness that this
right.
being that this other animal is part of me and I love it unconditionally, it's like that's when it
Yeah.
happened. Whenever that happened.
Well, what
Oh my
if
god. Go ahead.
what
This
if
is
it
breaking
wasn't
my mind open.
what if it wasn't the mother or the unconditional love that created it, but the like talking about the animal, the
Mm-hmm.
the recognition from the baby of this is mother,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't have a mother without the child.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're exactly
Yeah.
right. Like it's that connection, the awareness of each other and the unconditional love of the mother towards a child and the child
Are,
towards the mother.
oh, can I just like say one? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a moment. I'm new here.
That's
Grace.
that's
Yours,
we're
please.
discussing.
That's what we're here
Discuss.
Yeah.
for.
Okay. I'm having this like outer body of experience of
Good.
like, okay, so I know words and thoughts create things,
Mm-hmm.
but what's blowing my mind is that an animal
Mm-hmm.
had a thought,
Mm-hmm.
had a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That animal and or whatever we're just assuming this thing is, right?
Yeah.
Created this magnificent spirit that now all encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Like there isn't an altar big enough for this energy. And it was
Which
all because of a thought.
I think that should make us all that much aware of our own thoughts.
That's what thank you. I was getting there. Yes.
Because what are we
Bananas.
creating with our thoughts? Are we creating wonderful, amazing, beautiful things that are going to help the world forever and ever? Or are we creating horse shit and garbage that's going to like screw up stuff, Like,
Yeah.
And listen, just
And it
think about it. Oh, go ahead.
well, it gives more understanding to art. Like I'm not all know, but I'm an artist.
mm-hmm.
And when I create, it doesn't always feel like I'm creating for myself. Like I have the thought, but it always feels like there's somebody in my body looking at the canvas while I am creating somehow.
Well,
Does that make sense?
there's a whole different conversation we're going to have then if we go down that rabbit hole,
Oh,
because I think
never mind. Let's skip it.
no, because I
Yep.
think that I think that when we are in the zone of creating, that we are
Yes.
tapping into source and spirit, and they are, whoever they is coming in to help us create whatever it is we're creating.
I just
I
got
agree with
goosebumps.
you on that one. You know, because we are tapping into our unconscious,
Mm-hmm.
which basically covers
Mm,
all of the potential that we have.
mm,
You know, so we're discovering ways of how to first off remember who we are, because where we came from, we knew what was available to us, but because we came down here, we forgot, and now we're trying to remember. And another thing I was gonna say is that just imagine how, you know, parents want to have a child. It's the same thing as, you know,
mm,
creating that energy, like the motherly energy, same thing. You want something really bad and you create it out of love.
mm.
That's what I was thinking, like, and then the child sees mother, and then it
Mm-hmm.
just continues on, and it's like,
What's that quote from the movie The Crow? Mother is the word for God on the lips of all children, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like one of the best
Ooh,
quotes ever.
Yeah.
It's worth, if you have never seen The Crow, it's worth watching it just for that scene.
just for
Mother
that
is the
quote,
name
I
for
think
God
I
on
need
the
to
lips
watch
and
it.
hearts. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Yeah. Because it's the
Very true.
person who created them, literally.
Wow.
Their body created their body. Yeah.
Flesh of my flesh.
With, a little help from the dad. There's a tiny little thing from the dad that came in.
Man, we love you. You guys are doing great.
So Keisha said animals are a different blueprint, so they say, and their bodies are limited in their creation. At least that's what the I Am book said. Well, in the raw material, it's talking about how, like, most animals are still on the second dimensional level where they're not self-aware, which we've had this conversation about, like with our cat. Our cat looked in the mirror and didn't know that that was herself. She's not self-aware. She thinks it's another cat. But
Or like nothing, like doesn't
yeah.
respond to it at all.
Well, she
Yeah.
was looking for another cat because she was walking around the mirror looking to see where the other cat was. So I think that there's some truth to that, Keisha, about animals because they're not self-aware. Then they might be limited in their creation of what they could create with their thoughts or their emotions or their whatever. But I think we don't give animals nearly enough credit for anything because I think they're capable of a lot more than we think that they are. And I
I
think,
found out when I was up in Alaska, they talked about orcas,
yeah,
and some of the latest research is that they have more emotions than humans on the like an
What?
order of magnitude.
there you go, John. Thank you.
What?
Thousands of different emotions that we don't have as humans. They're learning that they have more feelings. Yeah.
I can't even deal with the feelings that I have. Oh my God.
I know. I mean,
I mean, part of what I was typing out an answer to Keisha or a response to Keisha on there was, it really comes down to things that we don't understand yet. Like, do animals have the ability to think abstractly? And I want to say, Jenny, like that's not all, because there's probably, can dolphins and think abstractly? I mean, that's very possible. But talking about like the basic, in order to create a divine mother, they would have to have the ability to think of the idea of mother.
But I don't think
And we
that
don't
they
know
were,
what's capable
I
or
don't
not.
think that that's what she's saying is that they had to think about what it was. I think that what she was saying
Just the
was
love.
it was just the connection and the love that sparked,
Well, there's another thing.
sparked the first.
Well, that's
first
another thing,
bit of
though.
her. Yeah.
Is like some animals will like eat their children. So like there's not necessarily a connection there.
Well, it probably wasn't a hamster then,
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes so much sense though. Just But like the level of consciousness that they have, it just makes me wonder, like, to what extent, and if they do create based on feelings or emotions, it's just creating based on what they want to feel. If if they want babies, then I want to love something, so I'm just gonna go and reproduce, but without like consciously thinking about what it's gonna be, what it's gonna grow into, how it's gonna see itself, what it's gonna become. It's just, I guess, that level of consciousness that we have that they don't, is my understanding anyway.
Yeah, maybe part of this is that we don't understand that emotions are more important than we think they are too. Because animals clearly feel emotions.
Well, that's how they read the room, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
this place doesn't feel safe. Let me leave.
Yeah.
Or like taking care of their kids, just they're not gonna leave them alone, and just making sure that they're taken care of, they have food and everything. So that's already a basic instinct of not personal or not only personal survival, but also taking care of something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Like
I
that's
just.
They're
part of
also.
responsibility,
Go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, I was going to say, I just saw today, I think it was a zoo in England somewhere, just had one of their orangutans had a baby, and it's like pretty rare for an orangutan to have a baby in captivity, I think. And it was a picture of the mother holding the baby, and you could just see like she was smiling. Like the orangutan was smiling, and like all over her face, it was just like she was so happy. Like you can't tell me that she wasn't happy, like. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, I was going to say the kind of speaking of animals as well. They have perception we don't as well. Mm-hmm. Seen that with my cat. Is he would look at things or in the room that I couldn't see,
Exactly.
and he would follow them around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My cat told me I had to break it with my boyfriend once. Best cat I ever owned.
How did she do that?
Lafayette. I just would watch his energy, and I'm like, I don't think you really like this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've listened to other cat moms say, well, if my cat doesn't like him, then I don't like him. And I was like, well, let me just try this out.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, if your cat doesn't like the person, maybe you shouldn't be with them. Personal experience.
Me and Jenny have talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
We've had people who are like potential friends, like acquaintances come over. And like if our animals didn't like them, we would be like, yeah, I don't know about that. And I think that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Animals
Yeah,
know.
Lafayette was known to have his little tail up. And when their tails are up, they're really happy and they're happy to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Lafayette didn't feel that way about this guy, so I believe it.
It's interesting because
love it.
when we create something, not like a living thing, and work on it for a long time, it could be a year or whatever, and you're putting in so much effort into it, when it's done, isn't it the same kind of love for that as you would have for your child or something? It's just, it feels like that kind of creation too.
Yep, because it's all creation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see what
But it's funny,
man,
because
this is
when
so
someone forces you to do that, you don't feel like that.
All right, what did Keisha say about butterflies here? They can't just have that written in the inside of the sack that says, hey, turn west to Texas to get to Mexico and then come back. They have to have some form of communication and complexity people don't understand. Exactly. Bugs and birds know how to get to places without ever being there before.
Like
they
fish.
would fly in like
Bells and fish.
weird shapes,
Yeah.
They know to have those patterns.
Yeah.
Like you would look in the sky and you already see a triangle or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or another form of a bird or something.
Which is like something that, well, I'm getting some information on this because I'm having to teach college psychology this year and I have no clue what I'm talking about. But
You're doing great.
having to learn it, it's like it's hard for humans to understand that because human babies aren't born with any of that. Like, they don't know how to do anything, but they have these.
Tell me about it. I'm having to deal with kindergartners. They still don't know how to do shit.
they know exactly, like they know how to get to Texas, they
These
know
kids don't know
they
how
know
to
that
get
when
to
they're
the
born,
bathroom.
are like the salmon, they have to return to where they were born
Stop
to
it.
breed and all that
I
stuff.
will
Yeah.
not have
And
this.
how do they do that? And we can't study ourselves to understand that.
Oh, did you guys know that a soul enters a child's body in, like, I think either a 6th week or 9th week? So a child is without a soul for almost a month or over a month.
Yeah, I was
What's the
wondering about
source on
that
that?
too. Yeah, who says linguist? How do we know?
I think it was in the raw book.
Oh,
Oh, the
okay.
raw. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't read the second one, so if it's in there, I
Ah,
haven't got
No,
there yet.
I think it was in the first one though, somewhere in the beginning or something.
Maybe, I
So
don't
I
know.
wouldn't be surprised if you wouldn't remember it. Just something that stuck with me.
Yeah, I don't
I,
know.
I remember. I remember that it was posed as a question. Can we read for babies? Or
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, good.
and it was 6 months. That the recommendation is for doing any kind of a reading or any kind of a soul alignment, akashic thing like
Oh
that.
yeah, that was
6
from the
months.
course. That was from the course. That's right.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah, it's curious to think about.
plus I've also heard, I can't remember from where, it might have been some of the past life shows where we were talking about like the guy from the doctor from UVA that was saying that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but talking about how there could be a lot of trauma that's introduced by reincarnation, so it could
Mm-hmm.
just take a matter of time for the soul to like recognize like what's, especially if you're talking about like this timelessness of time being like a human construct,
mm.
then it could, then the time, like just for the soul to be like in the body and to like realize what the hell's going on and come to grips with that could take 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
know.
I have an interesting thought about this. Like, if we, let's see, how do I phrase this? If it takes the soul, let's say 1 month, 1 to 6 months. I don't know the math because I haven't done the reading. 1 to 6 months to enter the body, and then you have this life experience, and let's say you're 12, but you don't remember anything when you were 1 years old. Is that because it's such a short span of memory from six to like it's only about 6 months?
I
Because
might
I
have.
mean, I know some of my childhood, like I can remember I was probably like 2 years old. I have memories from 2 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but one, I don't.
Mm-mm.
What I do know is that it takes at least a few years from for a soul to detach to an extent from the source, so it can start experiencing the ego. So that's how it starts evolving its personal experiences and everything.
Okay,
I
That
don't
kind
know if
of.
that's
got it.
exact. Yeah, if
I
that
mean, that
That
exactly
that
answers the
answered some things.
that kind of makes sense though, even with just
That yeah,
like the human development. Like,
yeah.
That
at what point do babies start to
mhm.
realize that they're themselves?
That is an interesting question, 713, because I have lots of memories from being 2 or 3 years old, like quite a few. And
Same.
I've talked to a lot of people who don't like remember things like before they were 5.
Yeah.
Or so
Oh,
it's interesting to see like what studies could be done on like why and when humans start forming long-term memories, or if that's part of the soul question or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, when, let's say, someone experiences an NDE and they trespass, and sometimes they don't realize that they're dead, for example. So it's like having no recollection of, leaving this reality to another one. You need to be told, basically, that you're not on Earth anymore. So I wonder if
Mm-hmm.
it's the same kind of, like, either losing or building a different kind of connection with the other. But I do remember a couple of things from when I was like just maybe 2 or 3, and it was a very memorable experience. So I wonder if it has something to do with like emotional level of experiencing something like that. It has to be so in your heart for you to remember.
Might be.
I'm gonna blame it on my Pisces moon, but yeah, we'll say the heart. We'll say the heart.
I mean, some of it probably really does actually have to do with human brain development too. You know, I mean that's how we function around here. Let's see. Keisha was saying kids remember and don't begin their blueprint until around 5 is what the IM book said. And kids see ghosts and experience past life stuff, but then it's gone. Around 5 usually.
That makes sense
Yeah.
too, because that's like the milestone for them to remember so many things, to learn the fastest, and that's when they start grasping, and gradually we start forgetting actually as we get adults. So that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. I think I saw my first ghost around 4 or 5.
Wow.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I'm
makes
lucky
sense.
I've never seen a ghost because I wouldn't handle that emotionally. Maybe that's why they're staying away.
Well,
You know, the thing is that you're just still. Like, I was just like, wow, there you are.
Yeah, I would lose my
That's
shit.
all it is.
but linguist, what's the difference between talking to him and seeing him?
I don't know, maybe I'm a ghost.
Plus, I mean, if you were like 4 years old, it probably wouldn't be as traumatic as if you had never seen one and then you saw one when you were 42, you know? Because at that
Wait a
age, you're just
minute.
like, oh, this is natural, you know?
Yeah.
So, linguists, you talk to ghosts, but you don't see them.
Well, that's a good point.
You do
actually.
medium work. I mean,
That's true.
a ghost is just a spirit.
But it's
Yeah.
like connecting on a different level. I don't know. It's one thing to actually hear someone's voice that doesn't resemble yours and it's not in the form of thought,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, hearing
No, you're
someone
right.
else
You're right.
freaking
Yeah.
out.
I've heard a disembodied voice with my ears before, and it was like, what?
Sometimes I would hear my name, and it's like as if someone's calling me, and I would turn around and I don't see anyone around. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just losing my mind or something, but it's happened quite a few times. It's like someone just yelling across my name. I'm like,
No.
what?
That's probably really happening, yeah.
Right? We're not crazy. We're not
No.
crazy.
We're not crazy. Thank you for saying that because I'm not crazy. I mean, I might be crazy, haha, but not crazy, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying in the past couple weeks, it's like this is the new normal.
Yeah, we don't use that word anymore.
Yeah, we're not using crazy anymore. This is the new normal.
And it's really funny is that every time I would say crazy, I have to like verbally correct myself. I'm like, that's not what I mean. I mean like in a loving way or whatever. Every single time I would say that out loud. This is what I mean, not actually what it meant.
I mean, I said it all the time, and then when that one spirit, or I think it was the alien came through, yeah, and they said we shouldn't say that word. I was like, oh my god, I say it all the time, and now when I say it, I'm like, wait a minute, let me think of a different word.
Right.
What's the word we should use? I'd like to acknowledge pronouns.
Me and Frosty were talking about this maybe last week, and it's like we use the word crazy for so many different things. Like we use it for like positive things and negative things. But instead there's so many other adjectives we could use to replace it that mean something that's actually closer to what we mean, you know?
Being intentional with the words that you use.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if Jenny tells me a story about what happened on her stream, instead of me just saying that's crazy, I could be like, oh, well, that's enlightening, or that's interesting, or that was whatever it was. Yeah. Instead of just using like this one umbrella word.
Yeah.
We have to use our big girl word.
Yes. Yeah. I do that with awesome.
We do it with awesome. Yeah.
I use awesome for everything. Yeah. Everything is awesome. Anything good, anything positive is awesome, but that's not really what I mean.
Everything can be awesome.
Yeah. And then awesome actually loses
it changes the vibration around it, which is really nice. When you remove crazy and actually be intentional, it changes the vibration around the moment and what you mean.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh yeah, we're still gonna be Team Weird though. Weird's not going anywhere, Keisha. Weird
Okay,
is
good.
weird.
Good.
Yeah, we can still be weird.
Weird is weird. Now, if we had been called Team Crazy, we might have to change it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't pick that word.
Weird is the actual intentional term that we would have used crazy for. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird is the correct word instead of crazy.
I love it.
One of the gift shops in Alaska, and they wouldn't let people take photos of their stuff, but it was a plaque that said "Embrace the weirdness."
Yay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I love it.
Perfect. I don't think I ever shared it, but I found a magnet at Five Below about a month ago. I bought it. It's on the fridge, and I'll have to take a picture of it. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, and it says the universe is full of weirdness and magic or something like that. And I was like, well, this is perfect. So I own that now.
There's a movie, Hitchhikers, right?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, yes.
That's the
Maybe we
galaxy.
could have like a watch party or something. I know I'm never
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Put it in the movie night suggestions.
Hell yeah.
Two
Yeah.
versions, one from the BBC and then one from Hollywood. And the BBC version is superior.
I haven't actually, I didn't know they had a BBC one. Maybe we'll have to watch that one
Oh.
instead.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, it's much better. Yep.
Sweet.
Because all of the British humor works with people speaking with a British accent.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Plus,
makes sense.
people in America don't really have British humor, and Hollywood people. And British humor is far superior just all by itself.
Yep.
Don't tell Gigi I said
Yeah.
that.
Unless you're Ukrainian and I don't understand half of what they're saying. You might have to enlighten me on that one. Every single time they make a
Poor
joke,
linguist.
Well, you just have to start watching like some Flying Circus to get it down
Yeah.
before you watch it with
Monty
us.
Python's Flying Circus. That's your homework.
sounds familiar. I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
British humor's
To
wonderful.
Keisha's point, I think that the BBC movie, when all compiled, is basically all of the television episodes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They're
it
a
was
half
a
hour.
wait a minute. It was a television series before,
I didn't know
We
that
and then
either.
it became
Yeah.
a movie.
Looks like a lot of us discovered something new.
Mhm.
Golly, I didn't know that.
Well, it was a book originally, right?
Yeah, I've read the book. The book is
Yeah.
fabulous.
Chris Adams did the book, and the BBC half-hour TV thing. It was very faithful to the book.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah, the book's awesome.
I don't know why, but I don't really enjoy science fiction, and I came across the book in like 2014 or 15, and I put it down. So maybe it's time to recover.
It's like, I don't know. It's not it's got science fiction stuff in it, but it's more like a satire of like about humanity, basically.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
I
like making fun of humans, which is always hilarious.
I have a
We
hard
are funny.
time understanding the technology that we don't have. It's just like my brain just doesn't get the concept because I've never touched it, I've never seen it, and my brain's just like a monkey brain. What? How do you even like? How does this function?
I know what's happening to you, linguist. You're like looking at the stuff in the movie or whatever, trying to figure out how it works.
How it all
Just
works.
stop it. Just stop it. Just listen to the story and not worry about how the frickin' flux capacitor works or whatever.
Yeah.
Linguist, I was silent the entire time, and you validated my experience with the movie. I'm going to have to watch it again because I was like, I watched it, but it did not resonate. It didn't. I'll have to watch it again. Okay, cool.
Just gotta-
Well, maybe we can make that another watch party.
Yeah, I'll just do
We'll
another
do the
watch
BBC
party.
one.
Yeah.
Maybe I just can close my eyes and not see anything and listen to it. That'll help.
I think maybe we should do something else while just listening because otherwise, if you look at it, it just doesn't. I was like, why is everyone enjoying the movie? I was on an outdoor, and everyone had their popcorn and all so excited about this movie. And I just felt like I was the awkward kid. Like, why is everyone enjoying this? This makes no sense. But
On
this
the
makes sense now.
to the T.
Okay.
So- when we had Tom Palladino on Linguist, should we have just had him like take the machine apart and then like because I
Right.
almost wanted to go there, but I was like, I don't know if we can if we got time for all of it. But like I want to see how this thing actually works, like how,
There you go.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I haven't
There we
even
go.
finished the podcast. I still have like maybe 30 minutes or so. Oh man.
Mm.
There's probably a YouTube video for it or something.
Well, imagine having Mark Hunter Brooks and him all together in one podcast. I think this is gonna just blow everything around us, and we were never gonna be the same.
Yeah,
That
it,
would be legit.
it would be crazy. Yeah, we could have a two. Keish said we could have a 2-for-1 with the BBC and the Hollywood one, and chat
I
and
would
BS
skip
the whole
work.
time.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
that'd
would
be
call
cool to
in
make it
for
like
work.
compare and contrast.
I would call
Yeah.
in so I can actually watch it.
But we could do it on the
Never feel like-
weekend, so you don't have to call out.
That would be even more amazing. I'm
Mhm.
losing words.
Yeah, we can all pop some popcorn and order in some pizza.
That
Hell
sounds
yeah.
good. Pizza and
Oh my
popcorn.
god, I'm hungry.
The essential P's of any nutritional diet.
Right.
All right.
We might become
Speaking
a
of-
black hole if we have Mark Hunter Brooks and Tom Palladino at the same time.
No, there was a question that I was gonna ask Divine Mother, but it was like on the lower priority, I guess. So I started coming across meditation guidance, but saying the sounds like om,
Mhm.
yum. So I was like really wanted to ask her the effectiveness of those sounds and like if they need to be said in accordance to the musical notes that correspond each chakra. So that's
Yeah.
something that I'm curious.
Well, she did say
like-
that the sound and vibration was real important
Yeah.
with light and color.
And it made me wonder, like, it's not always just the words, but how we say the words, the tonality of it.
Mhm.
Like, making that vibration, it's already, like, making something move, creating the dynamic. And it's funny, because what made me think of that is my boyfriend sent me a video just randomly of a frog.
By 713.
in the middle in the middle of the pond, and it just started doing its froggy thing. I don't know what the word is, but it's just like making that sound, and it was crazy to see how water started rippling, and like the more intense the sound was, like the more ripples it was creating. It just blew my mind. When we start saying something, we're just like sending out that energy, and how
Yeah.
invisible it is, but it's still like so powerful.
It was
It's
still
just-
changing the environment.
yeah. So I just wonder, like, when you meditate,
Mhm.
how it affects the state of, like, your mind, your body when you do that, and what it does exactly.
Yeah.
Because that would change a whole process of meditation if there was a need for that, really.
Well, that's something you could incorporate and see what happens.
True.
Yeah.
I just didn't know, like, how to not say those words and sounding the same, because I didn't know if they would make the same kind of,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, I didn't
Mhm.
want to make it all sound the same if it's not going to work the way it was supposed to. So, yeah. Maybe
Well,
next time I can
Might
ask
be
somebody.
some experimenting too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from 1981. That's why I don't know that it exists. That
wow.
was the year I was born.
Ah.
That was a long time. Well, I might keep that to myself.
That was a long time ago. You're
I
right,
did-
linguist.
I got it on videotape. I still have
Oh,
the original
wow.
videotape.
That's cool.
The one notable thing is the robot Marvin. The character and the voice is absolutely superior in the BBC version
Awesome.
because he really is a depressed robot.
Love
And he's
it.
got a voice like this. Brain the size of a planet. Something like-
Have you ever considered voicing any actors or whatever, or the roles in the movie? You would do
It-
fantastic.
I do a lot of impressions.
Awesome.
Can do Sean Connery.
Love it.
I really like that old movie with him from like 2004. I can't remember what it's called.
That really old movie from 2004. Is that what you just said? Oh my god. That was like a couple of years ago, Linguist. Just wait. Just
Right?
wait till
Yeah.
you get old like us.
Yeah, it starts getting really weird when I talk about that new album that band put out, and then I realize it's like
Boston
12,
just put
12
out,
years
right?
old.
Yeah.
That's the new album. Yeah.
Keisha wanted to ask something personal in nature but hesitated. I have a mark on my palm, and I feel like when I was around 5 or 6, I may have put it there with my energy to not forget my life plan. Wow, Keisha. Next time you're going to have to ask. Because that was part of this, is you could ask personal questions too.
You know, it's funny that you said that because I felt awkward asking personal questions, and I was literally talking to John about it last night. It's so funny that you said that.
I mean, that was part of the process of doing this, is that you could ask personal questions with it being in more of a private setting instead of it being like live on Twitch or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's,
Exactly.
I don't know. It still kind of felt like, I don't know. I felt uncomfortable because it feels like you want to ask something that would be beneficial to everyone because, you know, we will have.
But how do you know the thing you're asking isn't something somebody else is wondering too, and then the answer is something beneficial anyway?
That's true.
Mhm.
True.
You'll ask
Maybe
on
too
Twitch.
much-
You're
too
too old to have a filter.
That's true too, Keisha. At some point, you just
You don't give a shit.
we were
no
talking about
more.
that last
Yeah.
night. We were talking about how we both used to be really shy.
Mhm.
Me and Ginny were both really shy, like through teenage years. And what would you say? Like you didn't
I
get
think I
unshy until
don't.
you're like 27.
I was about 27. Yeah.
And now I just when I'm in a public place, there's like no filter. Like I'm an open book, and I probably talk too much. So it just happens. At some
27
point.
last year? What?
It might have felt like last year. Keisha's farting in public. Oh my goodness. My
Damn, she-
my yoga instructor farted last time, and she just kept on going like nothing happened. I guess when you're a yoga instructor, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.